Welcome, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. Welcome, welcome. We will get started in a minute or so. We're going to give the other participants that time to try and join. Thank you so much for being here. We really do appreciate you taking the time to learn this fine tool. Thank you, thank you. We will get started momentarily. Thank you for being here. Okay, it's been a minute or so. I'm going to be sensitive to your time. So, welcome to Showers Online, our webinar designed to show you how you can create your shower enclosures, get your glass drawings, have quotes available for your for your customers through our software. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate your interest in this fine tool. If you are new to CRL or to Showers Online, this webinar is for our Showers Online web version. We've made a lot of progress in the tool, and I'm proud to say that it is definitely one of the best out in the market. And we continue to evolve and improve the tool as much as possible to ensure that it meets your needs. So whether you're in the office, whether you're on site, or if you're at home, this new web version is completely browser based. So you can go ahead and log in and start designing your projects wherever you are 24/7. Not only is it available through a browser, but it's also, this new version is compatible with Apple devices. So for those of you who have had Showers Online on the Citrix based, which is that third party application, you may know that there were some challenges for sure on the Citrix space with Apple devices where it would glitch, not print, and things of that sort. Fortunately, this is the right replacement, or better said, the better version for the Apple devices. So with that, again, welcome. I'm gonna introduce myself. Today I'm going flying solo. So please, if you see me looking to the side, it's gonna be because I'm looking at the questions you may have. My name is Yancy Salinas. I am the online program manager. You can say I'm the middle person between CRL and the vendor or our development team, the customer, and everyone else. So I'm the middle person. I coordinate with the dev team the improvements on the tool, and I also communicate across the organization as well as our customers to let you know what changes are coming, what changes we're working on, and also conduct training, whether it's through the webinar or on one-on-one sessions. I also support with troubleshooting should you experience an issue. And of course, always looking to get feedback from our customers, because I know that our customers, for the most part, at all of our shower customers who have the tool, live within the tool and use it on day in, day out to conduct their business. So with that, again, thank you for being here and some ground rules. So, like I mentioned earlier, I'm flying solo on this one. So, I will be looking at the chat for questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them on the chat, and I will keep an eye on the chat whether I can respond to those questions either live, or if I don't have an opportunity to respond to your questions live, I will definitely email you with the response to your question. And with that, will go ahead and start taking you through the journey. And once again, thank you so much for being here. Okay, so First things first. If you're not familiar with our website, this is Serial's website. You can browse for our hardware here. You can also register if you haven't registered and you need a username. You can always go here to the login register slash register, and you can register. You need your CRL account number. You can create your username password on here. Once you've registered any orders that you put through, you can check on your quotes, on your delivery ETAs, you can check on your orders, and so forth. So there's a lot that you can find here on our website. Now, why did I bring you here? Because one of the resources for CRL is the online programs. We have a multitude, three online programs. So we have Showers Online, Glass Entrances Online, and Handrails Online. Today, we are going to take you through a journey for Showers Online. Okay, so this is the landing page for Showers Online. Now here you can either register through one of the our call to action buttons here on our website, as well as request a free trial. However, if you are a subscriber, whether it's to the web version or the Citrix version, you can go ahead and log in also here if you have not yet saved the URL. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click login to web. This is what our the login page for Serial Online Programs. And what Serial Online Programs, for the most part, is all of our web version tools. So this is Showers Online. However, we recently transitioned our glass entrances in a web version as well, for both CRL systems as well as US aluminum systems. Staying true to trying to have all the projects under one interface, so you can create all of your needs in one place without having to log in and out from different sites or different programs for the most part. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead. You enter your username and your password. I, of course, have mine saved, so I'm logging in. Now, once you're logged into Serial Online Programs, depending on the role that you are assigned within the site is your account where you're creating your projects. You will be able to see this dashboard. So, if you are a site admin, and typically the site admin is the highest role that you can have as a customer within the program, because the site admin, they can go ahead and create the settings, add the logo, add glass pricing, add a markup. So pretty much design or structure the site to your needs. Also assign any preferred fittings, preferred showers, and so forth, all within the site. Um, and then we have basic users. So basic users typically can go ahead and just create a project, code a project, and place the order directly on the tool. So if some of you were not aware, all of our online programs are designed to also process the orders. So once you've quoted, you can always process the orders through the online programs without having to log out and going into the website. Okay. So what's on the dashboard? And as I go through the dashboard as well as the other materials within this webinar, I'm going to go ahead and go left to right, starting off with our main menu. So on the top left-hand corner, this is our menu. Okay, this is where you can either access the project list, which is a list of where you have all of your projects, whether they're showers, glass entrances, and so forth. And I'm going to show you in a little bit the difference. And these are all the maintaining. How do you maintain your site? So these are some of the items that you can go ahead and change. Now, mind you, I am a system admin, so my list is pretty lengthy compared to a site admin. A site admin might have like maybe about 3 or 4 less than this list here. But I have the whole universe, you can say. Okay, so that is where the menu is at. Now on the dashboard, you will find this is for information for your site because again, because I am a system admin, I can also see all of the sites in the back end because I manage the tools. Now the dashboard, you can go ahead and view the data for the previous 12 months, 6 months, 3 months, or even the last month. You can also sort here by the specific glass supplier you've sent your jobs to. Okay, so this account here is a test account that we use either for testing, testing any new enhancements, or for entering projects for those customers who have that onesie, twosies shower jobs and do not want to subscribe to the tool. We can go ahead and create the project within the tool and send them the glass order for a fee. Okay. And then here on the top, you'll find the item templates. The item templates is, for example, if you have a shower application that typically you use in your area or you use very frequently, you can always design that shower and templatize it within the program. And this is where you would be able to find those. As you can see, we have a couple here that we've templatized, and you can go ahead and select from these. Here you can create a new one, but once you get started, you can also select from those templatized applications. Here is the site details, and the site details is going to take you to the page where you're going to be able to see your company name, where you're going to be able to add your site logo, and even adding your company logo is very simple. The program would just, you would upload the image, select from the file, and then it'll take you through your device files for you to choose where you have that image of the logo. Also very important that if you, for example, if you change number, remove a fax machine, you want to change the email address, on the site details is where you can are able to change that directly. And mind you, again, that would be the site admin that can go ahead and change that. And that's assigned typically to C01. So these are the branch details, branch address, so email, phone number, and here you would have the physical address. Okay, take you back to the dashboard. View projects, that's taking you to the project list. Add new is adding, starting to create the new project. Okay, now what's on the dashboard? On the dashboard, we have any active users. So anyone who's logged in within the last 24 hours, you will be able to see who has logged in and how long, what time they logged in for, and for how long. Okay. The next box over is our project count. I have it for the last 12 months. So as you can see, as I hover over in each specific month, it will give me how many projects we've created for that month, how many of those projects were quoted, and how many of those projects were converted from quotes to order. Okay. Now, if you scroll down on the bottom left, we'll find the quote and order conversion. Again, when you hover over, it will give you that percentage of projects created to quotes, and then projects created to order. So that's the percentage formula. The next graph over is our report counts. So yes, they're considered reports, but for the most part, these are our PDFs. And again, if you hover over, you'll see exactly what is it that you did within that site. So for example, August 2025, there was we accessed 65 glass orders. Oh, sorry. 65 glass orders. From those 65 glass orders, 35, we also accessed 35 quotes, 37 hardware lists, and 43 installation reports. Okay. And that information again is available if you hover over. Okay. Now, with that, I can go to the project list so we can kind of get started and also explain what the projects list looks like. Earlier, I mentioned that this is CRL online programs because we're transitioning all of the programs to a web base and having them under one interface. This is why here on the top left hand, you're going to see the different tabs. So we have all. This site has showers and entrances and partitions. Now, when I say entrances and partitions, it's not only the CRL systems, but we also have our aluminum storefront. So we also have our US aluminum systems here as far as our curtain walls, our windows, our mall sliders. So all of that has recently been added to the web version. We're no longer confined to the third-party application for US aluminum items anymore. Okay. Now, if you want to see just showers, then of course you would click on the tab that says showers. If you wanted to see your entrances, then it would be the entrances. Now, again, and then on the top right-hand corner, we have the add new to initiate those projects. Now, in the past, we didn't have this option to search the project list by the CRL quote number or sales order number. That recently has been added. So if you see that this box here, that means that you can go ahead and search for by the sales order number or the quote number. However, you can also search by your project name. Okay. Now, what's on the project list? On the project list, we can, at first glance, we can see that this is for an entrance or storefront. Um, that's the icon you'll find there. And then the next column over is your project ID. The project ID is typically, well, it's automatically generated from the program, as a matter of fact. So that's the project ID. The next column is project name. There you can go ahead and enter the name of your project. Then next column is customer. So for example, here's an example. This is the project name, and this was our customer, Liberty Glass. These are we created a project for them. And then here you can also add a location, which in a minute when we start creating a project, I can go ahead and show you what locations, but you're not confined to the items we've provided on the drop down for you. You can also type in a specific location. Okay. And then we have description, and this is a very brief description of your project. As you can see, it's these 6 panels. This is a 6 panel clear glass. Here's 1 panel low iron. So it's just very brief, just how the quantity of panels. And there's some, actually, no, I think before in the past, it was more of the panel count, the glass type, and also the type of application. So if it was inline neo, you will be able, or 90 degree, you were able to see it there. But I think this makes a little more sense. Here you would add the quantity. Well, automatically the program assigns the quantity. Currently, we do not have the capability to add multiple showers under one project, but that is underway. That is being developed. So we should have that coming within the next couple of months or so. So stay tuned for that. Um, Here we also have the date entered. So this is the date that the project was entered within the program. We have the status on the right. And then this, when we say status, it's not the status of the project or of the order between CRL and you as our customer, but it's the status of the project between you and your customer, who you're quoting, who you're going to do the application for. Okay. The next column over is the total price. So some here you would see that we have a price and some we don't. Some, like for example, if we're creating just the glass, we don't have most of the glass pricing in here because, like I mentioned, this is a test account. So it doesn't make sense for me to have any glass pricing on those quotes because that's not the quote that I'm sending you as a customer. I'm going to send the quote only for the hardware. Okay. And finally, the last tab to your right is going to be the quote and or sales order number. Okay. I don't see any questions as of now. So I'm hoping I'm keeping it pretty clear. And I'm hoping I'm not going too fast. But also, if you feel that I'm going too fast or you would like me to repeat myself, please also share it on the chat. Thank you. So let's get started with creating a project. Very self-explanatory, add new. Now, mind you, if you are a subscriber to multiple web versions or to multiple tools, you'll be able to see the drop down and give you, and it's going to give you the options of the tools that you've subscribed for. In this case, this account has both showers and entrances and partitions. Now, if you are only a shower subscriber, you're not going to see a drop down. Automatically, it's going to take you to the shower. Heather, did you have a question? Do you want to type it in on the chat or does your microphone work? I can go ahead and enable your microphone. Okay, Heather, your mic is on, but you are muted. What's your question? Oh, okay. No problem. No problem. You pressed the button by mistake. Not a problem. Okay, perfect. I'll continue. Okay, so I will go ahead and select shower. Now, when I select shower, you're still going to be able to see a condensed version of the project ID on your left-hand side. However, the next a couple of columns over or the middle part of the screen will here you'll be able to enter your project name. Like I mentioned, it will auto-populate the project ID. You can add the customer name. So, test webinar. Mm-mm-mm. Oh my God, it's March already. Can you believe that? Oh dear. Let's say I'm going to put Subway, put Joe's Glass. Okay, that's my customer name. Now, as I'm entering this information here, you see that towards the bottom, there's five tabs. Okay, so the first tab is project. Here is where I mentioned that you can go ahead and add your location. So we can go ahead and add, for example, bathroom one or bathroom two, or if it's upstairs bathroom or the guest bathroom, whatever is up to you. You can choose from the selection here. Or I can do employee bathroom if needed. So you can type that in as well. Okay. Here you would add the project code. Typically, the project code would be your PO number. It here it will auto populate the owner of the project or the person who created the project within the program. The quantity, like I mentioned earlier, it automatically adds that one, that eight entered, which is today's date, the status. So this is, like I mentioned earlier, the status of this project between you and your customer. So it'll be, you and Joe's Glass, or you and whoever is the end customer that you're quoting for. And then here on the status, you have the options of complete, lost, order, or waiting. Towards the bottom, you can go ahead and add any site details. The next tab over is quote. This is when you quoted your customer, when you sent over the quote to your customer. Who quoted it? Typically, the program will give you the users within that site who typically would have sent it. Any customer reference here, any quote address, email, and any quote notes. Okay. The next tab over is order. Now, on order is not necessarily the it does have the order history as far as for the program, but is more of that delivery. How are you going to deliver the glass and the hardware to your customer? Are you going to deliver it to the site? Is the customer going to pick it up? Or is it going to be delivered to a specific branch? So that's what is found under the order button. You can also specify it by the date and time here. Plus, as the program changes, like for example, as you save the project and you quoted it, you priced it out, you'll find the quote number here under the order tab. And you'll also be able to see the order history. So order history, yes, but you'll also be able to see here any documentations you've accessed for this project. So if you've gone into the quote PDF, the hardware PDF, let's say, for example, it's going to give you the quote number. Once you convert that quote to an order, it's going to give you that order number. Now, let's say, for example, you quoted for the customer, but then the customer changed their mind and they want a different finish and you need to change the finish here within the program. Now, in order for you to change the finish, you would need to cancel the quote that you have and go ahead and generate a new one. So pretty much clone the project, change the finish so that we can go ahead and send over a new quote with that new finish. Okay. Currently, it does allow you to that it says update, but really it isn't updating it because of some challenges we have here. But again, because of that challenge, we are making changes within the program just to make sure that we are very clear and we enhance that user experience. As you can see, I prefer transparency, so I'm trying to keep you in the loop because I don't want you to come back and email me and say, "Hey, Yancy, so you said this was working and it's not. Hey, Yancy, I'm trying to do this, but it's not doing it." So I'm trying to give you as much as information as possible, so that I can ensure you're having a seamless experience. The next tab over is private notes. So these are notes that maybe another C can go ahead and add to the original to the project, so that the original person who created the project can see that there. And then finally we have the description tab. So this was something that was asked for a lot from our Citrix users to fully convert over to the web. So the shower description. So this is the description option that we have in Citrix. And here you can go ahead and type in what the description goes. Okay. And this will typically be right under the quote, on the quote notes in the bottom. So we'll come back for it so you can also see. Okay. Oh, see, there we go. So that's, the quote description. Now further to the right, we're able to see the design the shower. So this is typically where we can go ahead and click and start designing the shower. However, right under we have a space where you're able to see a 3D rendering of your application. And then further to the bottom, you have that pricing. So right now, obviously we don't have anything because we haven't started the project. Now here are these three buttons. If you wanted a breakdown of the glass cost, hardware cost, any miscellaneous, and then total cost, this is where it gives you that breakdown of this up here. Okay. So let's start with our project design. Design the shower. So here it takes you directly to our template library. So this is the templates on the right. You'll find the templates that typically are used, or just to get and give you an idea of what we have available or the typical applications. However, you can always do a blank layout. And with the blank layout, and I will show you in a minute what that looks like, you can drag and drop, whether it's a side panel, return, or doors and so forth. Okay. So on the template library, you'll find the different applications. So again, it's the type of application. We have inline, right angle, neo. So our 180, 90 degree, and our 135 or custom angles. Okay. As you change or as you select, it also does change the different templates. Okay. We have your door options. So we have a single door, double door, bifold door, single sliding, and double sliding. Okay. And then we have our transom options. We have a no transom, fixed transom, operable transom, a head gap, or stack transom. Okay. Earlier, I mentioned the item templates. So here are the item templates, and this is where you can select from the items you've templatized within your site. Okay. Here's for any existing. So this is some of the ones that already are in the program. So you can select from those as well. Okay. And let's go to, since we already went over on the template library, let's go to blank layout so we can see what that looks like. And here it's, again, a blank space for you just to drag and drop. So let's say I want to return a door and another return. Okay. So these are 90 degree currently, but let's say, for example, I didn't choose correctly, so I needed it 180. You click on the top on the junctions, and then you can go ahead and change the angles. Okay. You can also do edit junctions here, same effect. We have different methods to do this for you. Now, we can either add the dimensions here or we can add it on the following screen. Here, something to hide as well. If you right click on the panel, you can make any changes to the panel. So you can also insert a panel to the left, panel to the right. You can add a rake, change the panel type. You can set notches, nibs, and so forth. So that's on right click. Okay. For now, I'm going to click left, and here are the different options as well. I can show you even adding a branch is here. Okay. So I'm going to click next for now. Okay. And here we already have our 3D rendering. This is our design tab. This is where you start designing and adding your dimensions. You can select your finish. You can select the shower hardware style if you wanted to choose from the shower hardware style. Let me show you what that looks like. So currently, as a default, you have custom hardware. So that means that you can select the hardware yourself from our hardware list. Now this will get highlighted or will be open once you've added the dimensions, so that you can go ahead and select your hardware. Okay, but if you wanted to select from any of the kits that we've pre-populated in the program that are some of our best sellers, you can also do that. Like for example, here we have our U channels with our Pinnacle hinges, U channels with Vienna, our clamps with Bellagio, clamps with Geneva. For now, let's use a kit. So I'm going to do the clamps with Geneva. Once I've added those, then you will see that automatically will populate for me to add the height. I will go ahead and add the finish first. So I'm going to do the finish. Okay. Now, there's two ways of adding the dimensions within the program. You can either add it here on the 3D rendering, or you can add it here under measurement grid. Okay. And it will give the same effect. And it also provides the same information. And I'll show you what the differences are. So here, let's say I'm going to do a height of 68, and it's asking if there's an outer plumb. Let's say there's a 1/4 outer plumb. Okay, as soon as I add the 1/4 outer plumb, it's asking me, hey, the system's true. Okay, that's an outer plumb, but in what direction? So here you select in which direction, and then the program will automatically do the correct deductions and the measurements, I'm sorry, on the top and so forth. Okay. Now let me show you the other way to add the dimensions so we can do it in the bottom. Okay. So here, as everything is color coordinated as well. So this is B, this is for our first return. This one is going to be 25 inches. And then C is going to be, our door is going to be 28 inches. And then the other panel, D, I'm going to do another 25. Okay, there you go. It adjusted the length here, and I adjusted the length over here as well. And it pre-populated the height over here as well. Okay, that's under measurement grid. And here, if let's say, for example, if there was an out of plumb or out of level, you can also add that. This is where you would add the direction. Here, you can also adjust the base width or the head slope, and it's down here at the bottom. Okay, for now, let's go back to the details. So on the details, you'll be able to find, it will default to the 3/8 clear glass because it is one of the most popular that is used for these shower applications. However, you do have other glass options there. Now, used for all panels here, you could break it down if you wanted to change the glass thickness or glass type within the different panels. You can select that from here, panel by panel. Otherwise, the program will add a 3/8 clear glass across all of the panels. Okay, here you can add a coating. So we have none, clear shield, diamond fusion, enduro shield, enhance, and invisible shield. Okay. Here you can select a glass supplier. So if you are quoting the customer for both your glass and your hardware, go ahead and you want your quotes to have price and a very cumbersome pricing experience for the customer, I would say go ahead and add your glass supplier. Typically, glass suppliers will share a spreadsheet of their pricing for each specific process, each specific square footage of glass, and each type of glass. You can go ahead and add those in the program so you can have everything in one, not only the hardware, but you'll also have the quote for the glass. Okay, that's why we have the glass supplier here. For now, I'm not going to choose anything. Now we also have here a head support type. Currently, we have none, but if we have clamp, channel slide, channel lift and drop, a header, support bar, or even silicone. Okay, for now, I'm going to keep it simple and I'm going to leave silicone on the top. Okay. We also have the measure method. Of course, showers typically are centerline glass, but we also have exterior glass, centerline metals, exterior metal, and interior metal. Okay. Here it's auto defaulted the door width for 27 and 7/16 based on the dimensions I've added here. Okay. You can also add a rake on your left and then rake on your right and then both walls. Okay. Now that's under details in the design tab. Now measurement grid, like I mentioned earlier, here you will be able to also add the dimensions, so the height, the width, and the outages. And then of course, if you needed to do an adjustments on the head slope, this is where you would go to find the adjustments for the head slope. Okay. Notes, it simply has installation notes and glass order notes that you would send to your glass supplier or to your installer. Okay. So that is under the design tab. I don't see any questions, so I'll move forward with the next tab over, which is our hardware tab. On our hardware tab, because I selected a shower hardware style, it is going to auto-populated what we had in that specific kit. So we have our Geneva 180 hinges, okay? So it's going to give you the name, a brief description, and then also the location and an image of the hinge. Okay, as you can see, if I hover over the location, it also does highlight it on the 3D rendering to the right. Okay, so we have our hinges, we have our pull handle, back-to-back pull handle, we have our clamps, and we have the polycarbonate H-jabs, the seals and wipes, and then the wipe with drip rails. Okay, let's say for example, you have most of the some of our customers do stock a lot of our core product or a lot of our key pieces of hardware within their shop. So let's say you already have it. So you just click on the part and click remove, and there you go. You don't have it anymore. Okay. Same thing here, remove, and here, remove. Okay, so now I've just left my hinges, my pull handle, and my clamps. Okay, if let's say for example, I wanted to add a jab. Let's see, H jab. Uh, Actually, we'll do a seal and wipes. Okay, I'll put the filter for the seal and wipes, and then let's say, for example, I want the drip with. I changed my mind and I needed the wipe with drip rail. There we go. Add. So I've successfully added it. Just click on the hardware. And as you can see on when you're looking for hardware, it does have the different filters here. For those customers who are not familiar with our hardware, then these are their filters are clamps, U channels, handles, hinges, headers, miscellaneous items. And then we have our double slider for double sliding doors, single sliding doors, bifold doors, and also our shower grids. That is new to the program. We've launched our shower grids and they're very popular and they're used very frequently. So we've enabled the ability for you to add them on here. Okay. Now, because I'm using a oil rub bronze, I'm not going to add the grids because the grids are black. I wouldn't look so appealing, but essentially this is how you would also add the grids. So you do a shower grids. Once you add a shower grid, okay, you would scroll, you can close this tab and you can scroll here where the shower grid is, and then you can start editing here. And here you'll be able to tell the program what grids you want, where you want the grids. Okay. So the line count, the line count, max gap, and also any specific. And then here also for if you want vertical and horizontals, you can do those here as well. Okay. Uh, uh, uh. And I'm gonna go back to the hardware list. I'm gonna remove this, but those are our shower goods as well. Okay. So as I mentioned here again, and on the hardware list, in the hardware tab, it does give you a rundown of the hardware style, the finish, the glass, the coating, if there was any, the head support, which in this case is silicone. Now, in this screen, there's a lot of things you can do. If you find the location, you can go ahead and change. Like, let's say, for example, you don't want it 3 inches, you want it 4 inches inside or 2 inches out. Up to you. You can go ahead and adjust that here. Do 4. And automatically, because I changed one, it changed the other one. Okay. If you wanted to also change the if you wanted it more higher up, let's say if you wanted it 10 inches, the hinges, you can do 10 inches for the hinges as well. Okay. Okay. And then as you can see, because I clicked on the hinge template, it also gave me the glass drawing, the cutout drawing, and again, still the 3D rendering. That's all into the hardware tab. And that how I got here is by clicking on the location and trying to adjust what the location for the hinges or the back-to-back pull. On the left, it will also give you a image of the hinge, the glass to glass hinge. And then again, is the location and how it's positioned. It's positioned on the edge, on the left edge. It was manually positioned because I changed it, but we have also centered along the edge, aligned with fixed panel count, cutout, or aligned with another cutout. Okay. And then, of course, we have the cutout type. Our Geneva hinges have our mouse ears cut out, and then here's the notch inwards, notch along, and then, of course, any radius corners, holes, and so forth. So the dimensions for the mouse cutout. Okay. And then we also have it again on our panel one. So we have it on our door in our panel one. And again, here you can also make based on the adjustments I did, it's also adjusted it here as well. Okay. I'm not going to remove it. I'll just go back to the hardware list. And again, how I added that, how I went there is by clicking on the location. And I'll show you also where you can already be able to see that. Okay. You can unlock it, and that's where you're able to make the changes. Okay. So that's under hardware. One thing that I did forget to advise is, for example, these little icons here. So this is the 3D rendering or the 3D view. This is the bird's eye view, which you can pull from any angle and view it from any angle. Okay, this is the panel view. So you can just see it across, and will include the hardware. Um, and here is to view the measurements. Okay, so it does allow you to see the measurements. Also, again, it's dynamic where you can go ahead and I'm sorry, interactive where you can go ahead and pull it and view it for any direction. And then here, this little widget here of the little widget. You can go ahead and copy to clipboard the third party application, the 3D rendering. You can add it to your clipboard, add it to it. And then if you're adding it to a clipboard, you can paste it on a text message, an email, whatever the case may be. You can save it on a file and so forth, or you can print it as well. Okay, those are these images here. You can also play an animation. Okay. And all these features, as far as whether you want to view the measurements or play the animation, is also on our online quote that I will show you momentarily. Okay, the next tab over is going to be the cutouts. So under the cutouts, you can either add a cutout. Okay, so these are our cutout options. We typically use it for testing for the most part, all of these cutouts. And then here you can add the coding. So different way for you to add the coding, because I know earlier on design, I also demonstrated there's a drop down for coding. So this is a coding option. And if you wanted to add it on the front, on the back, or on both, and which specific panel. Okay. And then we also have edit corner. So this is if you wanted to add a radius corner, or angle corner, specifically what that radius is and to which panel and which corner. Okay. The next tab over is the panels. Okay, so it's going to take you one by one in the panel. And earlier you did see when I was in the hardware list and I clicked on the location, this is what it gave me. This is also where you can are able to see all this. So the first tab is the glass. It's going to tell you what panel type, the glass thickness, where the logo stands, and so forth. Okay, measurements. This is similar to the measurement grid that you saw under design, where it shows you the dimensions, and it's also going to give you the panel clearances between the each of the panels. Okay. The panel edges is so that you're also able to see if it's mitered, not mitered, if it the cut method is angled, if it's and what the gaps are. Also, if you want to adjust on the different edges, what components you have. Let's say, for example, you wanted to remove the SCU4 and you wanted to use wall silicone, you can do that as well. Okay. Um, yeah. So if you wanted to add a miter, you can also do that here. Okay, so we have the left edge, bottom edge, right edge, top edge. Okay, and then again, this is the same thing that you saw up here under cutouts, same thing. Okay, and it's going to take you through each specific panel. Okay, if I clicked on the mouse ears, if I wanted to edit the cutout or edit the fitting, you can also do that. The program is very versatile. You can do different things in different areas. Should you have forgotten or whatever you're used to, we've added these features in the different areas. Okay, and that's the door. Okay, and that's the final panel, panel 3. Okay, as you can see, very versatile. Okay. For now, I don't seem to have any error messages. Should the program give you an error, excuse me, or an alert, a warning message, better said, you would be able to see a little triangle with the number of warning messages here on the top that would definitely need your attention. Please make sure to check any and every warning that the system is giving to you, because sometimes if it's giving you a warning, it's because you're using our hardware and it's exceeding, it doesn't meet our specifications, or it could be over in thickness and height, or even in the weight of the glass, and maybe you probably will need another hinge, possibly. So I'll give you also recommendations. Should you not know where to go to correct that issue, if you click on the alert, it will automatically take you there. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and save my project and show you what the documentation for this project is. Uh, uh, where is mine? Oh, where is my project? Uh-oh. It was a shower. Can we see it at all? Oh, I think I know why. Uh, uh, uh. Where is my project? Hmm. My apologies. For whatever reason, my project is gone. Most likely they, uh, uh, uh. Let me clear out, hide details, make sure that there's no, Here it is. I knew it was here. It seems like someone entered a filter on the project list. So Apologies for that. So under view here, you'll be able to see the different PDFs we have available. So like I mentioned, the online quote. So the online quote is our has that more interactive view. You can, this is what this look like. And mind you, right now, it only has $44 because most likely there's a glass pricing in there or either process pricing in there for a component within this application. You won't see the pricing for the hardware as we haven't priced out the hardware. However, you would want to send the a quote once you've requested a quote from CRL for the hardware. You can either download the quote or you can copy and paste the URL on the top and send it over to the customer. And the customer too, under the online quote, they can have the same dynamic experience that you have, where you can go ahead and play the animation. You can hide the dimensions and also have that dynamic the interactive view. Okay, and that is under the quote, online quote. Okay. We do also have all the other PDFs for this project. We have the quote PDF, glass order, hardware list, and installation. Now, let's say you wanted to get multiple. Let's say you want to do the glass order and the installation sheet. Okay, so I've selected the glass orders or an installation sheet PDFs, and you can always, if you have, like, say, for example, you want an installation sheet to be the first one, the first document that displays on the PDF, you can do that. You can also move the order of the documentation. Or if you're getting all four and you want the quote on top, you can also do that as well. Okay, for now, you can do view selected. Once you click on view selected, it's generating a download, and here's the download. The download will be named as what you named your project. And this is the glass order. Okay, as you can see, panel by panel. And then we also have a template for our Geneva hinges, our 180 hinges, plus the installation sheet. Okay. On the installation sheet, it does have our hardware as well, and it has a small image of our hardware. Okay, so that's the PDFs. Now you also can go ahead and we have the export the XF file, so you can go ahead and export the file and send it over to your glass fabricator. So here are the different formats. You will send the one that your customer would use for their CNC machine. Right now, I can go ahead and do finish size layer 2. I'll do export. And again, it's going to go ahead and create a download. That download, you can either save it to your file or you can leave it on your downloaded folder and go ahead and send it over to your glass fabricator. Okay. Now, how do we place an order for the hardware, or how do we quote the hardware? You click on quote/order, and then on this screen, you'll be able to find 3 different tabs. So estimates is specific. That's going to give you an estimate or overall idea of how much the hardware is going to cost you and how much is the glass, as well as any surcharges or accommodations, discounts, and so forth that you've had. As you can see, our list here is very lengthy, again, for testing purposes. But this is also where you will be able to see any discounts or any additional fees you want to go ahead and add. Okay. If you wanted to add an item, you can go ahead and do that here. This is the here. If you want to do the quote plus that excludes the tax, quote that includes the tax, or yeah, so this is how you calculate the tax for your quote. Okay. So that's under estimates. And then we have glass. This gives you a breakdown of each specific panel or a specific component in glass. So this is panel 1, panel 2, and then panel 3. So panel 2, that's the door. I'm sorry, it's the door. So it's panel 1, the door, and then the side panel, the return panel on the yeah, at the 90 degrees. Apologies. And of course, it has the different finishes or different polish. If you wanted a polish edge, if it's raked, if it has a hole. So these are the processes or the different, or even the edge notch for the hinges. We have the sizing, we have the rate, the quantity, and any pricing. As you can see, like I mentioned earlier, I really don't enter any pricing. I know I entered this whole pricing, I want to say a couple of weeks ago when I was doing another webinar. So that's why that still stands there. Then, of course, we have the pricing for hardware. On the hardware tab, you'll be able to find a description of the piece of hardware, as well as our SKU, which is our code on here on the program, the sizing, and then we have the quantity, how many you would need for that specific application from each of the line items. And then, of course, if we have the stock, then you would be able to see the stock here, and then the price rate and discount. Okay. Now here, because I see Oro Bronze is, we don't have it in stock, this would be a good opportunity for me kind of to go back and talk to the customer and say, hey, they're not going to have it anytime soon. So do we want to do matte black? Okay, let's see. I will do matte black. We're going to do quote. Oh, we don't have a matte black also for the clamps and the pull handle. Let me see. Huh. Okay. I think they made some changes recently. Let me go and just go with our regular. Schnickel, we should have that. Okay, so I'm going to quote it. I'm going to go ahead and request a quote. Oh, this is an internal account. So for internal account, I actually have to enter an account number. I'm going to request a quote. Please make sure that when you're requesting a quote, make sure to have an email address, first and last name. Those have become mandatory. Otherwise, you can be sent multiple emails, and you just want to limit it to whoever really needs the quote. So, really quickly, the quote we've received the quote. Here's the pricing for each of the components, and now it's giving me the visibility of the stock 100%. So before, because I didn't add an account to it, it's not going to show me the stock. That was just, I didn't tie an account to it. It typically is going to allow you to see the stock for your local or the service center that should be shipping out the order for you. Okay. So we've quoted it. Let's say customer's good to go. Come into the program, place order. Now here's where you enter your PO. Okay. How do I want this delivered? I'm going to get UPS ground. There's my email. There's my information. I'm going to place my order. Okay. In seconds, it will give me it's going to allow me to place my order. And there you go. My order is ready and it's already at CRL. You can verify it here under the order tab here. And it's going to show you your order number, quote number, now your order number. You can also see it on the project list. Here, if you wanted to know what that quote number was, now that's converted to an order, so it's going to be on the history. However, on the project list on the left-hand side, you'll be able to see the most recent, so that would be your order number. Okay. Yes, Ben. I will be sending an email tomorrow post the webinar, which I will be sharing a video, a YouTube video of this session today. So you'll have that for reference should you want to take it back to your team, as well as if you would like more of that one-on-one session. Should they have questions, please also feel free to reach out and we can see about scheduling that for you and we can take them through the same journey, and if they have questions along the way we can answer them right there and then. Okay, so that is our complete journey. If you wanted to see how you can optimize your experience within the tool, like for example how to add your I think I kind of touched briefly on adding your logo, adding glass pricing and so forth, we can go ahead and there's another webinar that's is the Getting Started series, which you can also join there. However, I do have some resources available for you should you need something specifically or you have any questions. Please, please, please feel free to reach out. I'll be more than happy to respond and share any resources that I have with you. If I can't get you, if I don't know the answer, you can guarantee I'll get you the answer. I have a lot of resources at my disposal. So, with that, I don't see any additional questions. I hope you've enjoyed this journey with me of using the tool, and hopefully this tool will benefit your organization. At the end, right now that we're ending the webinar, you will be prompted to take a survey. Please, please, please take the survey. I want to hear from you which of the tools you like the most, and also, share any feedback. What can we add? What can we do to make your experience a lot more seamless within the program? Or what do you envision the program to do for you? We want to make sure that we're meeting your expectations. So with that, thank you, Heather, Ben, Maria, Tim. Um, and for those that dropped along the way, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you have a great weekend. Have a good one.